A common question that we get is, I have hip impingement or I have shoulder impingement. We're going to talk about hip impingement for a second, and it's how do I improve my deep squat? I've been told I have too much bone, or my hip has been shaped differently, or I have a very severe labrum tear, and when I try to squat, it hurts. I get this pinching in the front of my hip as I get down towards depth, and then I get this really nasty butt wink that my coach always kind of cringes at. And the question is, how do I get better at squatting? In a lot of cases, the hard truth is that you don't. Trying to force yourself through that range of motion is a really good way to further injure yourself. If it's a bony issue, then you run the risk of injuring your lower back. If it's a labrum issue, you run the risk of further injuring that labrum, making it worse and a more difficult procedure to get it better. There are, however, things that you can and should be doing that will improve your ability to do squat pattern behaviors, like getting on and off the toilet seat, in and out of cars, without you back squatting heavy weight all the way down to depth. A few of those things are box squats, step ups, lunges. The idea that we need to squat below depth is a made-up idea for the person who is biomechanically advantaged to do it. Yes, if it allows for good range of motion, you should squat as far as that range of motion allows for. If you have room to improve your range of motion, if it's a ligamentous, tendinous, or muscular restriction, then we want to do things like eccentric contractions, length of stay in postures, and just repeated exposure to improve those ranges of motion. But you need to be sure first and foremost that you're not going to make yourself worse by doing those things. So if you have too much bone, if you have labrum tears, if it becomes pain that gets worse with every single rep as you're doing this, sacrifice the movement for the sake of movement and replace it with things like it, limiting the range of motion, maximizing the exposure and the value.